Before jumping into the video on the foolproof sales process, just a reminder, in the description, there's a link to the success scorecard. So if you're a med spa or an aesthetic clinic owner and you want to find out how you stack up against your competition, it's 4 minutes, it's free. It's a tool to use to identify the gaps in your business, and it relates back to the content in these videos. Now let's get into this bulletproof sales process.
Growth engine number 2 is a supercharged sales engine. This is a sales process that cultivates the sales. So when they come in for the consultation, they are already ready to buy. They have checked the box for everything they need to make a decision. They have the trust, and the sale becomes almost a formality at that point in time. So if you're not doing a sales process and relying exclusively on the consultation, you're trying to do too much at one time, and it's going to dramatically reduce your sales conversion. So you have to give the client what they need when they need it, depending on where they are along their decision-making journey. So a sales process can build trust before the sale. It crushes concerns. So we can answer those concerns. You can feed them with education before they get there. And sometimes those concerns are you the right person? And so we can actually, along the way, feed them the right information so they are equipped to understand exactly who you are as a clinic and can you handle their needs. A main thing is aligning yourself with the psychological needs to make a decision. We are all humans. We all make decisions along the same avenue. Dr. Robert Cialdini wrote the book Persuasion that's very commonly used in businesses, and he has 6 cues or 6 psychological things that we as humans are influenced by and can be persuaded by. If you can align yourself so they are on the positive side, or the psychology of a decision is in line with what exactly it is you're trying to offer, then everything goes so much smoother. And so you can do that in advance of, and you can use these cues of human psychology to better promote a decision. And a good process will literally sell for you. And they say good marketing and a good sales process means the sales becomes a formality. Wouldn't that be a nice place to be in? And you can do just that. So I'm going to walk you through everything that you can do to improve your conversion at the time of the sale. The sales process starts from the first piece of communication that the client or prospect hears about you and your business. So when you are doing your advertisement, when you call out and you start talking to your niche, to your avatar, that is when the first piece of content happens that's going to make a deciding factor upon their your client. And so if you call out the niche and you do it in the format that they talk, and the problem which they have, the pain that they occur in your offer and in your ad, that's going to resonate, saying this company understands me, and perhaps they probably have a good chance of also resolving my solution. That's where the whole thing starts. Up next is you have a chance to position your authority. So any influencers that talk about you is going to raise your authority piece. The type of doctor or credentials that are within your clinic. If you are the only doctor of a specific type of training, or you have specific equipment, that is going to increase your authority that you can solve problems for this particular type of person. How long somebody has been in business. If you've been around longer than everyone else, let them know. Find a way to deliver this information in a preamble, during the ads, or on your pages. And you can send this information out from your social media, or as soon as you have your contact information, if they booked, then you can start to send them this type of information to ensure that they can trust the authority pieces. And last is the type of equipment. If you're the only person that has a certain type or certain level equipment, or any even certifications, then this is a good time to send that out so they understand they're in good hands. Next up is testimonials to answer any concerns. If they look up Google reviews, which we all know almost every person does look up Google reviews, when they go through the chat, they're going to be looking for similar people that have similar problems, and how was their experience, what was their result. So if you can send them testimonials of that particular avatar, that's going to let them know that you've done this before and you can do it again. Okay, and a difference between a Google review and a testimonial is, one is obviously on the channel panel of Google, and not everybody wants to do that, especially if it for aesthetics. Some people don't want to know that they've had any treatments, so you can then use a testimonial. In this case, it won't have, say, the name. It could have just initials, but at least it is a statement of somebody from your clinic, and you can use these, and you should have a system that collects both testimonials and Google reviews inside your process. The last thing is data and metrics. There is nothing more powerful than actually having proven data to say what you can and cannot do. And you might be thinking, well, but this is a qualitative thing, like how I look or how I feel is kind of a qualitative thing, but you can put a numerical value on qualitative. You could ask your clients before they come in, what is your skin? How do you feel about your skin today? What is your pigmentation? Rate your wrinkles, rate your aging out of 10. And if they write down a 2, and by the time they finish the process, they're defined end program for this offer, and they're feeling fantastic when you're showing them the before and after, and you ask them that same survey question, and they say, oh, well, I feel like an 8 right now, then great. You've actually just taken that client from a 2 to an 8, and you've increased 400% what their skin was. And you can take that data, you can find an average. At my clinic, I had an average of 189% on overall skin within 6 weeks. That is a statistical fact that I can publish from the hundreds of people that went through that did our defined end program. It's a very powerful way of building trust and conveying that they're in good hands before you even meet them. The sales questionnaire, and to pre-frame their pain. This goes in 2 ways. I just talked about data and metrics. This is one way to do it. I think that every person, before they ever have a treatment or test a product at your clinic, should be doing a survey to find out what their baseline is. This is nothing more than a scientific statement of finding out where they're starting and where they're going, because you need to have a benchmark of knowing whether you're improving these people or they're getting worse and you have to make changes. The other side of it is for them to psychologically review where it is in their mind that they are, what the problem is in their own words. They have to remember they answered an ad maybe a couple of days ago or a week ago about something, and it was fresh at that point in time. Maybe they've forgotten all the pain points when they actually put in their information to book the consult. You want this to become fresh in their mind before they have a conversation about it. And the key thing is that they are doing it in their own words, and you cannot convince somebody of the problem they have. They have to fully understand themselves what the problem is before you are able to solve it for them. Another thing this has to do in this questionnaire is you should be finding out how long have they been in this state? How long have they had this problem? And another way to phrase that is, how long have they not been able to find a solution to this problem, which hopefully you're going to present that for. And the last thing is, what have they been doing to try to improve their problem without being successful? So if they have been to clinics before and they have spent money on treatments, you want to find out what they did so you can differentiate and state why your way of doing things is going to be different, because you're going to need to separate from what did not go right. And even better is if you can pinpoint exactly where the process in their treatment plan went off, then that becomes a great trustworthy factor right there. And that's the reason that they're going to want to go ahead and treat with you next time. The 5th step of the sales process is staging the consultation room. This is often overlooked. You have a dedicated space that is there not just to do the consultation, but it is to promote the decision factors. And so what you're going to do is the things that we have been talking about previously, you're going to echo this again inside the room. So you cannot tell if somebody has looked up your Google reviews and you don't know which Google reviews they have looked up. And perhaps you've got one Google review from somebody that didn't even walk into your doors that is a negative a review of your clinic. You don't want that to be the one thing that's left in their head. Or if they haven't read any of the hundreds of ones that you do have, you want to make sure they have a good sample. So inside your consultation room, your walls should be decorated with your certificates, reviews, testimonials, anything that is positive that they should know about you and the process and the success of clients that went before them. It's a great way to present it. And when they're doing their survey inside the room before you have the sales, they're going to be looking over that room, looking around and checking out all the awesome things that you have. It's going to make them feel like they are in good hands. Okay. A before and after book, keep it recent. This is the easiest thing to do, especially if people do not want things to be public. A lot of times, if you ask them and you have permission, you can do an internal photo book that stays inside, and this is only for people to give it examples of. So if you took care of somebody's pigmentation, you got some good results from it, show them the process that they are about to go through or you're offering, and see what a typical result is. It can't be all home runs, otherwise you're going to not be able to manage their expectation. They're going to expect that, but you need to have some goods and some averages in there, and it's a great way to show that this is the journey. It's also a great way to put it back on them, saying this is the outcome if you do the work, because it's not all about us, right? 90% of what happens is going to be outside your clinic. So this is like, you have to do the skincare. You have to take care of yourself. You got to, wear your sunscreen. And if you go out, things can happen in the sun after the treatments. So you have to do the plan. And they say, okay. And they become responsible for their own outcome. It's a very important person. It's a very powerful way of doing it as well. Highly recommend it. Keep it by year, every year. Get a new update. It costs between $50 and $75. Highly recommend it. Oftentimes when I came in for my consultation, they were thumbing through the book, looking at it, and they wanted to ask questions. Great. What a way to enter is like, you're asking me questions about these awesome things they're already interested in. It's a wonderful way to bridge trust and start a conversation about what we're about to talk about, which is their problem. The last thing I'm going to mention about is, this is going back to Dr. Robert Cialdini's and kind of leveraging on reciprocity, which is a human behavior that we are very prone to following. I always walked into the room and handed over a sparkling glass of water with the open can of Perrier, and I set it right down on the table with their label facing them. And you're like, well, why is that such a big deal? Studies have shown that just being handed something, and Dr. Robert Cialdini, I believe, used a Coca-Cola, and then asked somebody to do a task afterwards, a favor afterwards. And there was a 30% difference between the people who received the Coca-Cola and was asked the favor and the people who received nothing and was just asked the favor. It just shows you how much persuasion, something like that, or influence, something like that happens. And if you are the clinic that is best equipped to handle this person's problems, then it behooves you to ensure that you are the person that takes care of them. Because if they walk out of that room and they're not convinced, because you don't bridge the gap of trust, and they go out there, somebody else that's not as qualified, that does not have as good equipment, is probably going to take their money, and they're going to be stuck in the cycle where like, wow, I did the treatments, I still didn't get the solution, I don't know where to go to next. I'm sure you've had those people walk into your doors. Don't let that happen. Make sure you do everything you can to be that person, to take care of them. Also, you got to make sure that you are the right person as well. But if you do these 3 steps, the ROI on simply handing over a Perrier is probably one of the highest per dollar for close rate of anything in a sales process or marketing that actually goes on. It's pretty powerful. The sales script is the next portion of the sales process. Some people probably believe that this is actually where a sale normally starts, and this is in step 6 of this process. So it's a sales script and not a sales outline, because you're going to be doing one offer, and keeping the script very specific means that you can still A/B test certain parts of the script. If you find people fall off at different points in time, then you know where to change it. Okay, so if you keep the offer the same and you're always consistently selling the same type of service, then you keep the script the same, and practice, and you'll get so much better if you're always doing the same type of delivery. It's very important. The closer formula was just one of the many acronyms that used for a sales process. I've read so many of the top books and tried them all out. More or less, they're basically the same. This one comes from Alex Ramosi, who did a great job documenting it in one of his books. I believe it was Offers. So I've just used it because they're all basically the same. I go into more detail later on the closer formula, how I applied it specifically to aesthetics and a particular offer, and I walk through on that portion. I don't need to come up with a new acronym because more or less it's the same, and this one seems to stick for me, so I hope it sticks for you. Next up is the irresistible sale offer to solve their problem. So there is a process for this, and this kind of goes in, this will be inside the sales room. So to going with the closer formula, there's going to be that offer and how you present the offer after you go through and mitigate all of the problems, after you take in and educate everything on the closer formula, then you actually have to present the offer and the price. And this is a key. So the first thing you want to make sure you do is when you get a price anchor, and the price anchor is saying, whatever you state first, okay, you want it to go down, because if you start high and come down, it always feels better to the client. So what you're going to do is make sure that all of the value that you are offering, whether you do it for free or not, has a monetary value associated to it, so the client understands that they're getting something even if it is for free. And the key thing I'll suggest is that consultation that so many of you offer for free. It's not free. It costs you money. It has a value. You've got a person there that has a wage, whether it's you or somebody else you're paying for. You've got overhead that's happening during there. That person also has intellectual property, which is the reason that the client shows up to begin with. That has value. If you're going to do it for free, that's fine. But understand that that person is getting that monetary value inside your program. So as opposed to the treatment and then the free consultation, well, the consultation is worth $100. The Visi analysis is worth $100, or maybe it's $200 or $400, whatever it is. Even if you're not taking money, do they understand that it has a value to it? So when you do your price anchor, the skincare routine that you're giving, the advice you're giving, the consultation, the Visia, all of these things that have monetary value to it, make sure that's in your price anchor. And then you can come down from there. It's a great way to do it. So you don't need a discount from what you normally do. You need to increase the ceiling of the value of that offer, and they have to understand it. And the thing is they don't. They're new to the industry. They don't know as much as you do. They don't understand how much this information can and should cost. So make sure they understand it. Okay, it has to be a complete solution. Avoid at all costs anything that is a singular treatment, because singular treatments take care of singular problems. If I was to do if somebody wanted to come in to get into shape to lose 10 pounds, you wouldn't sell them a set of bicep curl exercises. It doesn't work. The skin is the same way. Oftentimes people like to sell things like microneedling or needles or IPLs, and they want to upsell to 4 of them because they want more revenue. But the reality is yes, it costs more money, but at the end of that, the person has only worked and improved upon one aspect. So if you were to get into shape or want to get into shape, it's great. You got good biceps because you bought bicep curls. That's part of it. But now you've wasted 6 months and you spent money and you don't feel like you've gotten a real good return on it. Make sure your offer is a complete solution, no different than a complete workout program with meal plan and that type of concept and idea. Do your price anchor for the complete offer. You're going to have your actual price that this is going to come in for, okay? And you're going to mitigate their response to the actual price with bonuses. There's a reason why on the shopping network and things like that, they go, but wait, and they cross it out. If you buy now or act now, as much as it is cheesy, there's a psychological response to that. If I was giving away a $1,000 program and I said today it's only $1, the $1 still has a negative connotation to it. I still have to mitigate that dollar. And so you do that by a bonus. It doesn't have to be much. It has to be something. Okay, and also understand that it doesn't have to cost you much. You could be the skincare that you get for free on the samples from your local supplier. That's a great way to do it, by the way. So I like to do things like that. So if I'm heavy into one brand, and that brand is offering me extras as a thank you for being a good client, then these are things that you can use to offset on a bonus. It doesn't cost you anything, but it has numerical value to them, and it reduces that price that they are thinking of. It's like, well, it's $500, but I'm getting $110 travel size, of skincare for free if I do it today. And it was $2,000. This is starting to get really, really, really good. Okay. You get your scarcity and urgency after that, because now you presented all this whole thing. It looks fantastic. And you're like, okay, but I only have 6 spots because that's all the onboarding I can possibly take. And secondly next week, we're not running this promotion. So you have to be one of 6 and you have to do it before Friday. And If it's real, if it's true, and it should be, then it's an easy thing. You're just communicating the reality of the situation. The fact is, everyone has a limitation on how many people they can onboard at one time. If I sent you 100 people tomorrow, you wouldn't be able to take them on. You don't have capacity to process 100 people tomorrow. So you've got a limit. My limit was always 6. I could take on 6 new people each week. And so that was it. So I always said, we're looking for 6 people. I did that at my offer. That was actual reality. And I wouldn't tell my staff whether we're going to continue it or not next week. So they are unknown on whether it is. So that offer was there for this week. And that's the way it was. And that is just being transparent about the urgency and scarcity that exists in the offer. One thing I'll also go back on the bonuses, if you're really good, you can also partner with neighboring companies and exchange offers and bonuses. So something that is free to for them, such as a nail salon wants to give $25 off their first time toes or whatever it may be, then that's a new numerical value, or it's $50 off a massage. That's great, because the cost of acquisition for a client that happens to be the same avatar that you have is probably between $100 and $200. So $25 or $50 or even $100, it would actually be a discount for them to have a pre-qualified person walk through the door, and then you can use those bonuses to reduce and add value in your package. Great way to do it. Lastly is the guarantee. This is basically reducing risk, okay? You cannot advertise, or at least in most places, depending on where you're located, you cannot advertise a physician service or treatment that has a guarantee on it. That is incorrect. But inside of a chair, when they're in your room, you can guarantee something, and you're probably like, well, I don't know if I want to guarantee. If you control all the variables for somebody's pathway to be improved, and you cannot get a result, then you should probably work on that first. If you cannot consistently get results when you can tell them what skincare they're going to have to use, how long they have to do it, the number of treatments they're going to do, and on all the variables going to it, you should be able to guarantee your result. To me, that is exactly the same thing as saying, if you want to lose 10 pounds, I will guarantee you lose 10 pounds, assuming that you only eat the meal plan that I tell you, you do all of the cardio exercise that I tell you, and you do all of the workouts that I tell you. And if you don't do any of those, then the guarantee is off en void because you didn't do the work. Well, in skin, it's the same. The regenerative processes and the treatment plans is more or less exactly the same. If they do the steps, it's almost impossible not to get an improvement. You didn't say you're going to look, 19 again. You said you're going to look at an improvement. If you do a before and after picture, it should be almost impossible to say, no, I did not improve my skin. And that's what you want to do. You should be able to beat your chest because you're really good at what you do, and then guarantee it. Because if you want to increase your prices and you're going to do, $1,000, $2,000 offers, and I highly recommend you being able to do that, then you want to be able to guarantee and reduce and mitigate the risk that these people are going to do. And if you can do that, it's going to highly increase your close rate. Okay, the last thing is basically onboarding, the welcome package. You want to create a community from this person and make them feel, again, like when they thought that they were at the beginning of this, and when you're nurturing the leads coming in, they felt like they were a priority, and now you're going to cement that, meaning like you care to us, okay? And you're going to do that if you got some sort of swag bag, small thing. If you're selling big packages and you got membership, sometimes I offer like a water bottle or something small that you can get in that's got your logo on it. They're going to tout around for some branding, make them feel like they're part of the community. A t-shirt, I know gyms do that quite a bit. I don't do that, didn't do that at my clinic, but anything that makes them feel like they're part of a network is a great thing. The handwritten card, this goes to, not everything can be automated. Actually, the handwritten card, I know it's excess work. It goes so far, because when everything is digital automated AI, 2 sentences in a card that was pre-printed more or less, or handwritten a while ago and just put the name on the end, goes so far. I usually do it if the owner or doctor is not a part of the sales process. This is a way to introduce them. They do the handwritten card, you put the name on it at the end, and the doctor/owner introduces themselves saying, hi, I'm so happy, we're looking forward to taking care of you. Here is an invite to our quarterly client event. Great way to introduce it. This makes them feel like a great thing. And that event is the next thing. You want to have quarterly events, and you want to bring these people in, and you want to nurture them. This is how you're going to get the long-term lifetime gross profit and turn these first-time buyers into lifetime clients. Next up, The irresistible sales offer. There probably isn't a single greatest singular factor to closing a sale than the actual offer itself. And if you are to, and Charlie Munger, I think, was the person who, quotable, said, make them an offer so good they feel stupid saying no. And if you can do that, it makes it so easy for your sales team to continually and consistently close on the first time clients coming in the door. But there are some rules to doing so. So the first thing is you never want to discount. Anytime you discount anything, especially if it's a treatment or commodity, then what ends up happening is people just expect that that sale price is what the price is. And your list or standard price, they will never buy, or they'll just keep waiting until they see the next time it goes on sale. But what you can do is you can add value. So instead of discounting something, you make sure you increase the value or add the value so that the standard price always seems like a discount. Okay. Step two is this is something I truly believe, and from practice inside of the clinic when I was running it, was that I don't like the discount. I rather do something for free at 100% free rather than any discount. Going to step one, as soon as I discount, then it's people expect that to be the new price. Secondly is that they'll keep asking for more. If you give them an inch, they want to take a mile, and it becomes a race to the bottom. Okay, you do not want the percentage of discount to be the mechanism that convinces somebody that they should do it. Instead, I'd rather give it to you for free. Now I've got you in my pocket in the sense that I've given you something and you have reciprocity. And if I over deliver that free thing, you're like, wow, that was incredible. You're great foundation for having a long-term client relationship right there. The last thing is that in any offer, you want to completely remove risk. You can think about the higher the amount of money that goes, and they don't know what the actual outcome of the final result of all of these treatments or process is going to be. But if you can mitigate the risk, they are much more likely to give you a chance at it. So those are my rules for creating the irresistible sales offer. And I'm going to go through step by step on exactly what that is. First of all, you have to pre-frame that pain survey. So we've talked about it before as part of the sales process, but you cannot offer a solution to somebody who is not aware that they have a problem. So that survey must be in there for them to understand what their problem is. You want to convey the authority pieces. This goes back to the Google reviews and the social proof. So this is previous to, on the beginning side of the sales process, you're going to set this up. Okay. Second thing is that price anchor. So you are going to publish what the price is, but this is the entire value of the price. If you were to pay dollar for dollar everything of value that they are going to receive, they're going to understand that they're getting a lot more in return. And today, it is only this price. So I've got it down as $4.99. And this is not an uncommon ratio. When you get good at understanding where the value lies or how to document and communicate value, you can easily get a 4-to-1 out there. And it's nothing more than just going, oh man, I used to do that for free. And I do it for free, but if I was to go and have somebody else do it, I would have to pay them. So it has a value to it. So you're going to get good at finding what the value is and make sure you communicate that across the board. The next step is you have to give value at all steps. Anytime somebody comes in, you can add value, whether they open up an email, a text message, they're there for a consultation. You can add value at every interaction that you do, and you must do this. And I think people don't understand what value is to the client, and that is the fact that a client doesn't know much or very little about their skin or skincare or how to improve it. And if they did, they wouldn't be there at your clinic asking for help. And I think sometimes we get a little bit too immersed in the knowledge that we have and don't realize that other people don't understand this. So you get services and bonuses. You can do a service, the consultation, literally educating on how to improve their skin, the vision analysis, a skincare plan, an AM and PM routine. If you just talk to people about the AM and PM routine and how to get a result using skincare alone, they're floored that they did not know this before. And that is adding value. On the other side, products like treatments, free products and education. Those can be bonuses as well. So you can go from the price anchor, and then you're going to add that bonus in order to mitigate even the $4.99 that is offered in this one. Scarcity and urgency, reviewing that scarcity is a limited quantity. So there's only 4 spots to left, and urgency is it ends on Friday. Without these involved in your offer, then people will want, but they will not act, and you need them to act. And so they have to have scarcity and urgency. And I like using natural scarcity, such as we only have the ability to onboard so many people in a certain week. So use that number, and it's usually a handful anyways. Urgency is I keep things to the week. This is the promotion we're running this week. I don't know what's going to happen on Monday. You have until more or less you leave at the point in time to answer. And if they make, the only thing you're looking for is for them to make a decision. And if their decision is no, that's fine. You just don't want them not to make a decision. It also works out sometimes they leave and they call back later and you did change it, and then they get mad at you because they didn't make the decision in time. And you don't want that to happen. So if you put in the scarcity and urgency, they will at least come to a decision then, or a higher likelihood, and that's fine. That's all you're going to ask for. Educate, offer, and have them act one way or the other. Reduce the risk. Crazy guarantee. If we do not improve your skin, we'll give you your money back. If we do not offer everything that is required for you to improve your skin, okay, we'll give you all your money back, or keep working until we do. You can call it something, insane. Like this is the ABC Clinics crazy guarantee, or risk-free guarantee. And in this industry, if you are only doing singular treatments and you're only trying to sell products, this is not something you can do. But again, if you have a complete offer that is taking care of pigment, redness, collagen and elastin, and you've got, what the quantities are, and how long they're doing it and the duration, you should be able to guarantee that their skin is going to improve. Otherwise, you should not be selling something. And so this is a way to reduce the risk, is to give a guarantee there. And if they call you on it at the end and they don't improve and they did all this stuff, then great. But honestly, I had not had a single person in 2 years running a guaranteed offer that ever came back and said that they were not happy, and even mentioned the guarantee after they started on. Because if you're over delivering and you're serving and you're adding value at all points in time, nobody's ever going to care. Continuation, exchange something for value for a long-term commitment. It is, depending on how you want to make your offer, how you want to go into your continuation plan, you can offer something for free, such as in this case, it was a $4.99 offer. I will do it for free if you join our 1-year membership. And so that is, they have a $4.99, and they may or may not join the membership after that. But if it's $4.99 for free and it's technically $19.80 in value, then all I have to do is do the monthly. That's a great way to do it. So now you've locked somebody in, and basically you're going to upsell the downsell. So what ends up happening is you've gone from a $4.99 that was going to cover your cost, and you're going to back end them into a long-term membership, or they're going to sign up for a longer membership as of today, and you've gone from $4.99 and say your monthly is $169. Now you're up almost to $2,000 you've taken that client's value from $4.99 to $2,000. And that's not a bad way to exchange. So you can give them something for short term and value for a longer term commitment. The reality is, though, is people don't like to be committed into something such as phone plans or memberships. So that becomes the reservation. So usually you have to build trust first. That's why I like to do a defined end program up front, and then prove that you can deliver, and then offer them something, because they're going to have to maintain it regardless, especially if you educate them on how to do it. Or they can dive in at the beginning, and you're basically going to reduce that risk for the long-term commitment by offering them something greater. So it's an and/or, a continuation program. You want the continuation program. You want to know next month how many people are walking through the door, because it's going to cover your bills, especially during low times like summer seasons and things like that. So it's a great way to exchange what they want for something that you want. Last thing is that, and people forget about this. If they say no to your offer, it does not mean they're not going to be your client. Actually, if somebody says no to your offer, oftentimes they might be worried about something else. Maybe the treatments or the injections or anything like that. The downtime is something they're a little bit too hesitated. They're not ready. They're not warmed up for that yet. So sell them something, a DIY, do it yourself. So it could be just a skincare program. And lo and behold, I find that more people that don't buy our offer buy more skincare. So in the skincare program, we averaged around $300 per person starting to start our program on top of our entry-level offer Defined M program. And the people that did not go into that program bought $400 on average of skincare to do it themselves. So just because they're not, option A, does not mean that they don't want to be a client. Give them a secondary option. You came all the way down here. I'd like you to do something for free. How about I go and give you a free skincare tutorial on how you can do this at home using just products and no treatments. Great. That sounds like a wonderful exchange. And came all the way down here. They're obviously serious because they came all the way in. That's a great offer to do. So if you don't have anything else, don't give up, give them something different. And if they do see results off the products themselves, then they become a client down the road after they have a relationship with you.